Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to another Sunday night here in beautiful 1933. The climate's a bit chilly. The players are a bit hot under the collar after last week, and we are here to continue the adventures of the Olympians you see before you. Project Athena, currently embedded in 1933 Berlin, but all is not as it seems because Berlin is a footnote in tonight's episode, as we are going to take the road less traveled by as we once again visit the Purple Nowhere. But before we get there, we need to stay here and talk to the people that are around instead of the ones that aren't. And so I will jump straight up and talk to Lauren. Lauren, how are you doing? Hungover from your birthday, as I'm sure you are.
Yeah, super, super hungover. That's my prep for today. Feels apt. Hi, I'm Lauren. I'm Not Salty Ginger over on Twitter, and I'm super excited to be here to round out the birthday celebrations with all my favorite people. And let's see, what am I doing? Right. I am playing Miss Sabella Maria Ives of Oz Esoteric and Antiquarian Bookstore in the beautiful Lower East Side of Manhattan. Psychic, smooching, showers. Nailed it.
Hashtag 343. And speaking of 3 for 3, I don't know what that means. Scrat, thanks for the host. Let's jump over to my man Strider. Strider, how are you doing this fine Sunday Eve?
Hey, I'm excited. I'm terrified. I'm excited. I think Lauren in group chat used the phrase "scaroused." Yeah, that's a personal favorite. That's how I feel every Sunday. I'm playing Elijah Sawyer. I want to see what kind of shenanigans we get up to this week, so I'm not gonna prattle on forever. So, yeah, hyped up, man, and a little scared.
Cool, great. Shenanigans aside, we'll see exactly how we do this because here on Project Athena, it's always sunshine and roses. Speaking of sunshine and roses, we will drop straight down from Strider to the man known as Dwight Burke. Stephen, how are you and Dwight doing this fine Sunday Eve?
Hey, how you doing? I'm doing great. Happy birthday to Lauren. That's why I want to say that out loud on the stream. I can't wait for today. I'm not going to prattle on either, but I played Dwight Burke, sniper, and I am ready to go and see what you got in store for us today, buddy.
Me too. As we're going to creep over to the side a bit as we talk to the frontline fighter, the tank, the Panzer Doctor, as we talk to one Greta Von Kraus. Lindy, how are you doing today?
I'm doing super stiffy. I am excited for tonight. I am scaroused as usual. That's pretty much every Sunday, especially if Dietrich's involved. But I will be playing Greta von Kraus, the German doctor, scientist, and bioengineer. She is not feeling very good after suffering a couple gunshots, some burning, and a tank exploding a few feet away from her. But she's alive, and that's what counts.
It does, and being alive is half the battle. I'm not sure what the other half is, but I'm sure it also has something to do with being alive and sane. Lindy and I have talked about it before. If you live through a Call of Cthulhu campaign, you have not won. You must die with your mind intact, and then you have won, because they can't hurt you anymore. And finally, last but certainly not least, the captain of the Olympians, our own Allison. Kate, how is she doing tonight?
Hey everybody, it's Allison. I play Caitlin Jane O'Callahan, aviatrix extraordinaire, princess of the skies, America's flying sweetheart. And for all of you who are there in chat and watching us on the YouTubes, take a bit of advice from your Auntie Allie. If you're the type that likes to write thousands and thousands of words of tragic backstory for your character, never send it to the GM. I have a feeling it's about to come back and haunt me. We'll see.
I'm sorry, I was lost in a reverie as I was thinking about these thousands and thousands of words. Yay! So yes, everybody, these are your Olympians. You have heard who they are playing, the masterful puppeteers behind these said Olympians, as we're getting ready to dive into the next episode of their saga. But before we get into there, I will let you know that if there is anything you would like to do to help the Olympians, you can look down into the doobly-doo, and there is a donation table there. If you just feel you cannot sit back and allow me to kill them. If you like death and murder, please, it's coming. There's also ways to help with that as well. I will let you know that Summer last week donated a boon for each of the Athenians, so they will be experiencing that. And we also have some trouble that was donated last week at the very end of the episode. That will be coming up too, but maybe not until the end of this one or the beginning of the next one. We'll see how it goes, but these things are currently in play as both a positive and a negative for each of the characters is in the offing. So before we get into anywhere else, Crit Dice, my man, coming in, and thank you for the host, everybody. You're watching Pulp Cthulhu's Project Athena. The group before you is set in 1933. It is a cross between, let's just say Batman, Indiana Jones, and League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, as we are fighting Nazis, punching them severely, multiple times if possible, while also taking on eldritch horrors. So it's a fun time all around. It's sunshine. It is roses. But it is now time for us to... We talked about some movies there, so let's do this cinematically. As we are coming in through a beautiful day, there's sun everywhere, clouds wispy. The air itself, if you could feel it on your skin, is cold. It is crisp in this, the highlight of the day. And as we swing from these clouds, we see a dirt road, and on this dirt road travels a very well-kept Master Deluxe Chevrolet. It is a polished rain shower blue, fine chrome, a mirror on its bumpers and around its headlights. And as it travels down this dusty road, a column of the lifted dirt fills the air, marking its passage. But beyond the travel of this lone sedan, there is nothing in this beautiful countryside. It's almost heaven. West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Life is old there, older than the trees. It's younger than the mountains. It's growing like a breeze. Country roads take you home to the place you belong. It's West Virginia. It's Mountain Mama. Take me home. Country roads. And as the camera pulls away from this car that's traveling along a dirt road, we see Dwight Burke as his axe drops through the air, whistling through the crisp, perfect moment of day. Crack! Through a piece of timber, splitting it in twain. He sets another piece there, and again, crack! As he swings the axe down. He's covered in a light sheen of sweat, his breath slight puffs as it comes out, no exertion, more pleasure as each drop of the axe head cuts some more firewood for his farmhouse. And as he looks around for a moment, taking a break as that cool breeze of this perfect day touches the small of his back that is sweat covered. And that's that moment, that sensation that if anybody has done an honest day's labor in the mountain air of West Virginia, when God blesses you with that kiss on the small of your back that takes away the ache, you know you've put in a day that he approves of. And so Dwight, as you stop for a moment and you swing your axe up onto your shoulder and you look around, a morning's work of wood cut beside you, you see your farm. What does it look like?
It's got a short road. Lots of trees. As you go up the road, of course, it's a mountain of trees. And the driveway kind of goes up. Everything is on a hill in West Virginia. And it travels that way. The barn is to the far back. It's got another pool building right there where they keep, odds and ends where you keep the plow. The field is to the right of it, with a fence around it. I have cows. The house itself sits probably 100 yards up the hill, and in front of the house is a large hill. There's pine trees that almost look like guard towers. Behind the house, there's a large hill as well. It goes up into a woods. There's everything is dirt. There's numerous animals running around. There's dogs, there's cats. He's got a flock of geese. The dogs are down there pestering the geese, barking at them. And the geese are mean, they're snapping back at him. There's a pond way off to the side where there's ducks, and he's got a little dock where he can go and fish. And then down below that, there's probably a hunting range. I'm sure somewhere where he can practice to shoot. Lots of bullets are down there with targets, things that he can just keep his mind. Probably his happy place. I'd say that's, trees are everywhere. So that's probably about what it is.
So this is the farmstead of Dwight Burke. And as you look around this farmstead that you've maintained, that you've kept one with nature, but also putting your thumbprint onto this side of one of many mountains in West Virginia, you hear coming from the farmhouse, "Dwight, we got a car coming." And you know it's the voice of your wife, Doris. And as the back door opens, a little girl, maybe 7 or 8, runs out, and she's screaming, "Daddy, Daddy, they're here!" And she's running up towards you. What's her name?
Abigail.
So is Abigail, do they call her Abby, or is she
They
just
call her
a
Abby.
she? So as Abby runs up towards you, she goes, "Daddy, Daddy, they're here, they're here!" And she just heads around the corner of the farmhouse towards the front of the space where people that are come to call usually pull up. It's perhaps a little cleared area amongst the trees where vehicles are allowed to park and not encroach too
Very
much
few. Very few.
Yeah, on the beauty of West Virginia. And right before she peters around the side of the building, but then you see a hand grab hold of the side, and the little face peeks back through, and she goes, "Are you coming?" What's she look like?
She is a little dark-haired girl, cute as a button, curly hair, probably down to here. She, it looks like the light of his life, and so just full of energy. Doesn't realize probably what he's done and seen, and he hides that from her. He always puts on the great face, like he's the great father for her. And he would probably be jarred a little bit to hear Doris's voice. He kind of, he's been chopping wood, like he said, so he starts to clean himself off and kind of, he slams the axe down into the wood where he keeps the top of where he chops off the wood. He says, "I'm coming, Pumpkin. Who do we got over there?"
And you just hear coming from around the corner, "Oh, silly, you know." And you hear the feet travel around in the gravel. And Dwight, as you presumably follow after your pumpkin, the camera pans back a bit, taking higher into that field that Dwight mentioned behind the house. It goes up a ways in this crisp blue day, this perfect moment in a perfect day. And Kate, you're staring up at this perfect sky, a sky that you own. And as you're sitting there looking up into the heavens, sound drifts up to you. "Dwight, got a car coming?" The rest of it kind of fades into the back. as a voice much closer, the voice of the person whose lap your head now rests as you look up into the sky. That voice says, I opened my eyes upon a strange and weird landscape. I knew that I was on Mars. Not once did I question either my sanity or my wakefulness. I was not asleep, no need for pinching here. My inner consciousness told me as plainly that I was upon Mars as your consciousness mind tells you that you are upon Earth. You do not question the fact, and neither did I. It was midday. The sun was shining full upon me, and the heat of it was rather intense upon my naked body. Yet no greater than that would have been true under similar circumstances in the Arizona desert. And you feel fingers comb through your hair, Kate, as Evie says, oh, Arizona desert. How true, Mr. Burroughs, how true. And she looks down at you.
Kate is lost in thought. She's literally a million miles away. And then she calls herself back at the sound of Evie's voice and says, can you imagine what it would be like to walk across the surface of that planet like it was ours? Evie, someday we're going to do it. We're going to go there someday. The technology exists, or it could. We know the science. It's just a matter of engineering, and wouldn't that be incredible?
She looks down and she puts a feather as a bookmark into a Princess of Mars, pats it down beside her in the field. She takes a finger and runs it through a strand of your hair, kind of twisting it around her forefinger. She looks down, cocking a head. Who's going to go there? They're going to need somebody to pilot whatever jet takes them all the way to another planet. Is that going to be you, Cato Callahan? Are you going to another planet? Is this your way of telling me?
Well, if they offered me the chance, no, baby, I wouldn't go anywhere. I know where my home is.
She, for a moment, there was tension applied to the curl around of the hair around her finger, and as soon as you say that, you see her kind of move her thigh beneath you and kind of rocks you a bit, and she says, you corrected yourself, so you'll live another day, Cato Callahan.
Well, I should hope so, Deja Thoris, Princess of Mars. Who else is going to save you if I'm not around?
I suppose I will just waste away.
I've seen you with a sword in your hand, girl. I think you'd be all right.
Well, I'm certainly not going to tell you that. And she pulls her own hair back around her ear to keep it off of you as she leans forward, kisses first your forehead, then the lid of your left eye, and then your lips, as she pulls back slightly, and for a moment her eyes lock into yours as she says, don't you dare go to goddamn Mars. What does she look like, Allison?
Evie Reardon has almost a porcelain skin and very dark hair that's curly and that she wears in a bob just below her chin. She never wears makeup, but her lips are perennially scarlet red, and there's a blush on her cheeks that one wouldn't expect from someone who grew up in the high desert in Arizona.
Well, the face that you just described is now just a few short spans away from yours as she looks and leans back, and catching the words that were shouted by Doris a few moments ago, she looks down and squints, and she goes, they're here.
Well, who's here? Baby, are we expecting someone?
Come on. And she moves to the side, but kind of pushes your shoulders up a bit as she swings around to the front, grabs a hold of both of your hands, and helps you up into a standing position. And before you go back down towards the Burke farmhouse, she kisses you again on the lips and again whispers, "No Mars without me." And so as the camera pulls back from this scene higher on the hill, it goes back down to the farmhouse as Dwight follows his pumpkin around the side. Only this time, it follows Doris in through the back door into the kitchen proper as food preparation is in full swing, as a turkey is in the final stages of basting, as Doris goes back to spray the turkey with a baster that she has kind of concocted from a bellows and ladles this broth back up onto it, kind of saturating this great bird with its own juices. And as the camera pans around, we see Ruth, dressed with an apron, as she is preparing sweet potatoes for the serving. And we see someone else, someone that we know as Elijah, wearing an apron as well, but Strider, what is his name?
Elijah introduced himself to Ruth as Elijah Sawyer, and that's who he likes to be. Who he's trying to be.
So Elijah Sawyer, as you are here in the kitchen with Doris and Ruth, what are you working on? Doris has the turkey, Ruth has the sweet potatoes, but what is Elijah Sawyer? What's his... We know he's a man of many talents, but in the kitchen we have not yet seen him shine. What is his weapon of choice?
We have not seen him shine because he is having trouble. He's been sent to shuck the corn. He is pulling little hairs out from underneath the big leaves and fronds with a bite on the lip and a furrow in the eyebrow.
Ruth goes by as she is placing a large bowl of the sweet potato concoction with a bit of sugar across the top as it crusts a bit. And every time she passes, going from a very large table back to the kitchen preparation area, as she's funneling food back and forth, every time she passes the corn shucking Elijah Sawyer, she offers a hip check just to keep him on his toes, as it jolts you a bit as she goes by, just, "Oh, pardon me." And she'll go on by. And again, "Oh, I am so clumsy today," as she goes on by. But every time she does it, she spends a couple seconds to look back with her dark eyes as they meet you. What does Ruth look like?
Ruth has a smattering of freckles across her face that Elijah loves to count if they're all alone. She has curly brown hair. It shimmers incandescently if the sunlight reaches through the window. If you catch it at the right angle, it almost looks blonde, but when out of the light, it's the dark brown. Shimmering white teeth that smile. Elijah makes some kind of comment. Sure, those are all accidents. Check her back. She probably elbows him, her little way of telling him he hates it when he does that stupid little voice of his.
So as this tit for tat goes back and forth, Elijah, as you look around the kitchen of Dwight Burke, beyond the massive amounts of food, enough to feed an army that maybe Dwight Burke once served in, you see that there is scrawled in very dutifully attended to paint. It is still absolutely the creation of a 7 or 8 year old, but it is painstakingly attempted. The lines are not straight. The spelling is correct, and you see a banner that says in both English and German, Happy Thanksgiving. And Doris looks over, and as she sees Ruth like kind of bump you for the 20th time, she places a hand lightly on yours as you shuck, and she says, squeezes it and says, I'm very glad that you're here. The house seems fuller with you all here.
Oh, of course, we wouldn't miss it for anything.
Good. And it is at that time, if you guys, I'd like Elijah to roll a listen check for me.
Elijah's frickin' deaf. That is a failure.
Well, as you're continuing to shuck the corn, Ruth comes up and you feel a pinch on the back of your tricep, your right tricep. And Ruth says, they're here. And she heads towards the front door.
And here I am in an apron. Corn can attend to itself. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Doris kind of shoos you away, and she goes to cleaning off some of the husk that was left on the cobs you've already shucked, as she just nods and kind of shoos you towards the front door. And as Elijah, Sawyer, and Ruth head towards the front of the interior of the Burke house, we go out front and we see that same shower blue Chevy sedan pull up. And as it comes to a rest, some of the road dust that had been following it all these miles rests around the chrome bumper, illuminating a dirty but very visible New York State plate as the side of the door swings open and Phil Castillo gets out, his hair slicked back perfectly, perhaps a little thicker around the belly, but still very much the Phil Castillo of old. And he inhales and says, "Now you smell that, Sabella? Phew, that's country air. Smells like shit. Really smells like shit. Did we run through shit?"
Don't tell any of them that, please. They have a hard enough time with you as it is.
I mean, get out here and smell. This smells like of intense shit around here.
I mean, it is a farm, Phil. And she starts laughing, and she's just messing with him.
Oh, okay. And then he bangs the roof of the sedan, and he goes, "Hey, wake up, you loafers. Get out of here. Wake up. Go. Run, loafers, run." And both doors swing open on the back of the sedan, and two twin girls, roughly the 7 or 8 age range, they jump out, and one of them rubbing the eyes, the other squealing, as Abigail Burke comes around the corner. Seeing the two new arrivals, she issues a squeal as well. And as the three run towards one another, what do the two twins look like, Sabella?
They're pale like her, but with dark hair like Phil. One has green eyes like Sabella, and one has blue eyes like Phil. They are, one of them is dressed kind of to the nines as much as she can and seems very prim and proper, and the other one is a complete tomboy and just takes off much faster than her sister.
Okay, so as they are running and screaming, Abigail Burke jumps up onto a tree stump that stands there, and she goes, "Quick! I just have a new kitten. Frankie is over in the barn, but we gotta be quiet. I told him you were coming." And she runs off, and the two twins follow. As you said, the tomboy running a little bit faster than Miss Prim. But instead of calling them the tomboy and Miss Prim, what should we call them, Sabella?
Marie, which was Sabella's mother's name, and Syl.
Who's the tomboy and who's Miss Prim?
Marie is Miss Prim. And Syl is the tomboy.
So as Marie and Syl run towards the barn, following their leader, Abigail Burke, Dwight, you round the corner as you see before you Phil Castillo and Sabella Ives. You two see the emergence of Dwight Burke. At the same time, the front door opens and you see Ruth and Elijah Sawyer walk out onto the porch of this grand farmhouse. And in the distance, coming down off the mountain, without a check, you can see Cato Callahan and Evie descending from the higher fields.
Dwight calls his dog, his hunting dog, Jake, come here, boy. And he gets up to shake Phil's hand. And Sabella, I'm so glad you guys got here. Was there any trouble getting here? I know it's hard to find.
It is, but I managed. And I give Dwight a hug.
He receives it. He's like, it's so good to see you guys. And the girls, they look beautiful.
Thank you.
Doris has been talking about you guys coming forever.
Well, we're glad to be here, aren't we?
And Dwight goes to shake Phil's hand.
Yeah, hey, what's up, soldier? The smell, is that something that gets, we get used to that, right? That's something that doesn't get into like clothes or hair or anything like that, does it?
No, listen, it's
Okay.
in about 5 months it'll be hay season, and the cows, they gotta eat, buddy.
He doesn't
I
know
don't
what that
understand
means,
it.
Dwight. Yeah.
I'll take your word for it, soldier boy. I'm not hay season.
And Dwight laughs. He said, "Just relax, man. There's only a little bit in the food."
Hay or shit? What are you talking about?
Dwight laughs.
Yeah.
He just kind of like bellows. He said, "Come on, man.
Yeah, maybe do you have anything to drink?
Lots."
Of course.
Mr. Castillo, if you
Oh,
are
shit.
inundated with shit, I don't think anyone will be able to tell the difference.
Listen, oh Christ, I'm not sitting near you. I made that mistake last time. I'm not sitting by you. I'm not sitting anywhere. I'm not sitting
He
across
was
from
just
you.
playing footsie
I
with
am not-
you. He didn't
I
mean
don't-
anything by it.
Listen, I don't give a shit with the footsie. It's this guy with the eyes and the fucking voice and the
Listen,
different.
we're all gonna play horseshoes later, so just relax.
How the fuck do you play horseshoes? I mean,
Oh,
is
I'll
that
show
like-
you.
All right. I mean, all right. Okay.
Come on. Let's go in.
Okay. All right. And at this point, Doris comes to the front door of the porch, and she looks directly at Dwight, and she says, "Oh no, you're not coming in here yet." And she looks and kind of smiles and just kind of puckers whenever she sees Phil and Sabella there, and just seeing everybody, you can see that she's just swelling with pride that her home is where everyone is at this moment in time. And she says, "You are not coming in here, Dwight Burke, until you show them. Go on, show them the cabin. You built it for all of them to come and visit. You show them before you come in here."
She got me. I was going to use it as a surprise, but apparently I'm going to show you right now. And Dwight's kind of pride that they're all there too. He's like, "Kate," he screams to Kate to come down. And he's kind of waving at her. He's like, "I want to show you guys this because I want you guys, listen, if I could have you all, I'll build you all cabins. You could all live here. Now I know that's not going to happen, but we sure would love you."
We used to
And-
share rooms, Dwight. It's really not a big deal.
The shit smell would be a problem with me, but if there's a way to keep
When
that
he
out.
gets on something, he can't get off it for like hours.
You'll get
That's
used-
how we got two
Shower.
twins. What? Yes.
You'll get used to it, buddy, I swear. And he kind of looks and goes, "He'll never get used to it."
I've known him for, you don't get used to it.
He's like, "Right, see?"
Well,
And he kind of turns back at Doris and he kind of breathes in a little bit and just looks at her. Like he's
She
seen her
looks-
for the first time in a very long time.
roll a power check.
That's a failure. Advantage.
Okay. For a moment, as you're looking there with love at Doris, who looks back at you with those eyes that she regarded her hero with, her partner with, her friend with. For a moment, you see her, and there is a flash. And not far from where this house exists, there is a family grave plot. And in that plot lie the Burkes of the past. And for a moment, in your mind's eye, like the flicker of a screen or a transparency over the real world, another cross joins that graveyard. And it bears the name of Doris, but it's gone a second later. And there's your wife. You're muted, buddy.
Dwight throws it off and says, let's, he just kind of like it's like he had a cold chill come over him. Let me show you this place over here. It's going to be great. I'm even trying to put indoor plumbing in for you. And he kind of looks at Phil.
What do you mean trying? Sabella, what does he mean trying?
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's gonna be okay.
And as you guys are starting in the direction that Dwight's leading you, Kate and Evie walk up, and Phil offers a nod to America's Flying Sweetheart. And Kate, you catch this as you walk up to join the group. Phil says one last pseudo stage whisper under the breath to Sabella, and he says, "You promised I wouldn't have to shit in the hole. You promised."
We all have to make sacrifices, Phil.
That's for the special guest, Phil.
Kate comes running up, and as she does, she looks at Phil and says, Did he tell you that the indoor plumbing's not working? And she gives him a big hug. It's so good to see you. And she kisses him on the cheek.
This is Phil, right? I gotta check. She kisses Phil on the cheek?
Oh, I think Allie froze.
I thought it was a dramatic pause.
The universe couldn't handle
There
it.
she is. There she goes. She's
No.
back. She's back. That was Phil that you were kissing, correct, Allison? Kate was kissing Phil?
Yeah, it was.
Okay. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So Phil
That's
goes,
weird.
okay. Yeah, as long as there's like, the smell of shit, like copping a squat over a hole. But it's good to see you. It's good to see you, Kate. It's refreshing after a long drive, I think Allison is. Yeah, Allison, you're roboting a little bit.
Reality in every world. I got nothing.
Okay. Yeah, Allison, you're roboting a little bit. So, we'll wait for you to clear up a bit as we. Dwight is taking you guys to the site of his cabin, which is off, nestled in the woods, still pristine in this West Virginia mountainside. And as the camera pulls back up into the sky, floats over towards this cabin and drifts down, we see a beautiful handmade log-hewn cabin. It looks perfect. It's sealed. It's fresh. It's stained. It is a masterwork by someone who built something with not just tools and the environment of the state that he loves, but with love. And as we pull closer to the long porch on the front of this cabin, we see that there are rocking chairs out front, also handmade, and there are stumps that are being used. They are sealed and lacquered, and they are being used as tables. And upon these lacquered stumps, these stools, rest books of science, stacked, all subjects, open, some of them marked, some of them open on top of open books, as if one thought led to another, And we go inside, and we see by one of the great windows, there's a man sitting there, and he is fashioning a shaving mirror, and he is capturing the light from the sun perfectly until it reflects off the shaving mirror and bounces into the cabin proper. And he produces a pyramid prism from his pocket. And as he captures the light in it, a rainbow is splayed over his hand and against the wall and a portion of the floor. And the man turns and he looks at Dr. Greta von Krauss and he says, I swear there's a color, the light is warmer here. It's almost imperceptible, but I can feel it. I can feel the light. It's warmer. Hans stands in front of you, Greta. Who is he, and what does he look like?
Hans, well, I'll go with what he looks like first. He has kind of sandy blonde hair, hazel eyes. He's very tall. He's a little over 6 feet, rather broad-shouldered. He looks like he probably should be playing a sport of some type, but instead he has glasses on from too much late-night reading. And he is very fine-featured, strong jawline. Oh, hi, Disney. And he's probably wearing a nice button-up shirt, some slacks, and always has a notebook tucked into his pocket with some pens and a pencil. He is one of Greta's colleagues from when she worked at Grünberg Pharmaceuticals in Germany, and they kind of had a long-term relationship for quite some time, several years.
Yeah, he walks forward as he's playing with his broad shoulders and his hand, making the prism look smaller and more delicate than perhaps it truly is. And as he walks forward, that rainbow splaying along his hand, he comes up to Greta and he kneels down, lowering his large frame to be beneath her gaze as she is sitting. And he says, "Here, let me show you. This is, I swear the colors are warmer." And he takes her left hand. And what is Greta wearing?
She would probably be wearing a loose blouse, probably silk, something lightweight, because it's a bit warmer here than it is in Germany. And a nice skirt, some sensible shoes. She was never really much one for unsensible shoes. And her hair would be down. It would be down and in loose waves, maybe a few curls here and there. And she would kind of take the prism and say, well, perhaps it is the altitude here. It is quite an interesting phenomenon. And she'd actually kind of have a slight smile on her face.
Okay. We lost Allison, but as we are talking to Lindy, we will wait for her to jump back in, which should reset the cameras. I'll take care of it when it happens, but until then, we'll continue talking to Lindy. As Hans sees what she's wearing, and he kneels down and begins to walk both his fingers and the beam of the prism up her left arm, her perfectly pristine and unblemished left arm, as he draws the rainbow up her wrist and up her forearm, and his eyes are locked onto hers, and he says, "Do you feel that? It's warmer. The light here in this West Virginia. It's warmer.
Are you sure it is the light?
Let me get closer and see." And he lowers his head until his lips brush the same spot that the rainbow is tracking up your forearm. "It seems warmer." And his lips again touch your flesh as it creeps up towards your elbow. "Oh, it's definitely warmer now. This is, my serum is proving correct." As he travels even further up.
Perhaps we should confirm this hypothesis.
Are you sure this could take research that is only best done in the field? We know this. This is something that we should practice. There could be multiple attempts at uncovering this great mystery.
You have to experiment more than once to make sure your findings are conclusive.
I agree. I should start over. And he drops the rainbow back down to the wrist and begins again as he creeps with his lips up the perfect left arm of Dr. Greta von Krause. And as it is creeping up, he looks up and you guys hear the approach of a conversation of people outside, and Hans stops and moves both Rainbow and Lips away from your flesh, and he goes, it was so warm. Now it's much colder. It's West Virginia.
It happens more often than I would like, but we should be social, I suppose.
I agree. We should, you lead the way, Doctor. I will place this prism away for later so we can perhaps explore the starlight. It could contain other temperature variations. Possibilities are limitless.
Limitless indeed. We will have to take extensive notes. And she'll kind of stand up from her rocking chair and straighten out her clothes. She was very relaxed. Now she's kind of gonna become a bit more formal as she goes towards the door.
Dwight would knock.
On the way up, Sabella, can only surmise until Allie gets back, but has been kind of staring at Kate and Evie and did not greet them.
Okay. From what we heard, and I'm not sure exactly if Allison broke up, we did not hear that there was a greeting between Kate or one offered from Kate or Evie to Phil, to Phil, but not to Sabella.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. She was breaking up there, but we'll assume that there's a bit of a chill between you guys. As Greta, you see everybody here. There's Sabella, there's Phil, who seems to have a weird expression on his face, and Elijah is of course there as well. Ruth is accompanying him as the Olympians are upon their mount.
Hi, Doc.
Guten Tag. Willkommen. It has been some time, no?
We didn't interrupt the Blitzkrieg, did we?
Nein. Nothing. We were doing science.
All I was saying, Philipathy, is that if she gets a kiss, why don't I?
What does he mean by... Does he want a kiss too as well? I don't understand his humor. I will kiss him, but I don't understand his humor. I want to...
Sabella, Phil's ignoring me.
Phil.
What? I'm not talking to him, I'm not sitting by him, I'm not doing anything. I'm being nice. You told me to be nice. You also told me I wasn't shitting in a hole, so I could be mean if I wanted to, until that is, proven.
If the wood's good enough for the Pope to shit in, it should be good enough for you.
Tell him not to talk about the Pope, all right?
You gotta use leaves. You do
You do not
Elijah,
have to
please.
use leaves. They are exaggerating.
He's so uncomfortable right now, Elijah.
Hans, have you ever had turkey, buddy?
No.
I took the bird. Yes, yeah. I've had turkey before. It's been a while. I haven't had it in a while, but I'm looking
We
forward to
dissected
this.
one in college. No?
Did?
Dwight,
There were
like,
so many
that's
things we
the best.
dissected.
What the fuck? He looks around, make sure the kids aren't around. Even Dwight's like watching his language. He's like, well, the turkey's good. Doris makes a good one. But it's edible.
This is good, right? We eat this turkey.
We
right?
eat the turkey, yeah.
Then,
It is like chicken, but larger. It is in the same genus.
I killed it myself.
I know what turkey is. But,
Well, you were acting as if you did not.
he was making. Okay,
This is
we are eating the
nice.
turkey. It is.
And Dwight's like, it is nice.
Greta's just
Like-
gonna kind of lean into Hans just a little bit.
Can I roll a stealth attack to try to kiss Phil's cheek?
Yeah, you're gonna need to.
He's on edge.
Are you guys enjoying yourselves?
Get the
God.
fuck out of here.
Oh my god.
Just like grab his
Ah!
head, just boom.
Okay, so as your lips are on the side of Phil's cheek, he just says, "Stop! Don't stop! Stop kissing me! Stop kissing me! Are the girls around? Are the girls around?
No.
I'm gonna burst into flame.
No.
I'm gonna fucking burst into flame, Elijah."
It is
Elijah,
merely
I'm gonna-
physical contact and biology.
I get,
You're
but
fine.
Don't act like you don't like it, Philipathy.
I get in between them. He's gonna do it.
I'm gonna do. I'm okay. I'm just. So stop. Are you gonna stop? I'm assuming that the lips are still on. You're gonna have to stop.
I'm inserting myself between them.
Okay, forget it. See? Smells like shit, Sabella. I got a shit in a hole, and this guy's already picking on me. We've been here like
Such a
32
drama
seconds.
queen
You
Sometimes.
do not have to shit in a hole.
I just
sirs.
drove like 30 hours from New York. I mean, there's no
You're the one
freeway
who got
system yet
lost.
until the
It would have been a
50s.
lot shorter if you had asked for directions, like I said.
Travel is fatal to narrow-mindedness, Philipathy.
I'm gonna fucking kill him. You know that, right? Like,
The way kind of
No.
grabs Phil, he's like, listen,
If you need me to incapacitate him, I can.
No, everybody's.
this is something. All of this
Doris
sounds
made
good.
pasta for you, Phil.
That's like
Put her
vaguely
hand in.
racist, but okay.
Okay.
Cannolis.
This is. Please stop. All of.
We brought it over from Germany. It
This
was
is why
imported
we-
from Italy.
This is why we live so far away.
She prefers French food. Sabella likes baguettes.
Thank you, Elijah. I do.
I'm a bratwurst girl myself.
I smile at Greta.
You get like the slightest smirk back.
Progress.
Shit, I don't know what I'm doing with the cameras. Hold on, I made a terrible mistake. I don't know what I'm doing with the cameras.
I'm now Elijah Sawyer.
I've made, yeah, give me a second. Okay, so as you guys are sitting there, oh, it's no problem, Allison. As you guys are sitting there, the back door of the Burke house opens up, and we hear a call from Doris that dinner is served. And then another call from Doris that says, that means you two kids, as it appears that somewhere the kids are not paying attention, but there are the sounds of 6 feet and 3 girls as Abigail, Marie, and Syl come charging into the house. Syl is now carrying a small tabby kitty that has apparently been named Frankie. And as they reach the back of the house, Doris goes, "Oh no, the cat cannot come in here. You know that." And Abigail pounds her foot for a second and then realizes who she's talking to, and she turns around to Syl and says, "Just put it down. It'll wait right outside. Mama!" And then she pounds in, and the 3 girls go inside. Apparently, it is dinner time.
If we're still walking back, I just turn to Phil, looking a little bit at his belly. Race ya, and I start running toward dinner.
Yeah, I'm not racing.
Okay, suit yourself.
He wants to spend time with me.
Yeah, you can spend time with Elijah.
Phil starts running. And he, whether by choice or by girth, he takes it at a trot instead of a full sprint. And as he gets there, he tries to hide the fact that he's slightly out of breath. Slightly.
Good job, honey.
As you all filter into the Burke family farmhouse, you see that Doris has uncovered or completed everything that Ruth and Elijah had been working on, as a massive table capable of perhaps filling 5 more of your number extends through both the dining room into the living room of this farmhouse. Any furniture that may have occupied the space previously has either been pushed away or stored in another location, as this is now the table of gods, and it is set up for the Olympians. There are little painted markers, kind of cards that are folded using popsicle sticks on each area that seems to be the work of Abigail Burke, denoting where Ruth and Elijah sit, Evie and Kate, Phil and Sabella, as Greta and Hans are positioned all around. The head of the table on one end is given to Dwight Burke, on the other, the one closest to the kitchen, is given to his wife. As everyone sits down, the three girls are off to the side on a smaller table. It is too set up the same way with the placards up there. There are additional little placemats that have been painted as Abigail wants to show off for her two friends that are coming all the way from New York. And as you all take the table, what is the process in the Burke household, Dwight? Is there a...
Dwight is... I know that some of us have issues with maybe this, but can we all hold hands? We're going to say grace.
No issues whatsoever.
If we could.
We're family after all.
Dwight kind of like beams with pride when everyone says, that's great. You know, he smiles. He's very happy with that.
Greta is still a little reluctant. Like, she'll grab
Right.
Hans's hand, but then she's kind of like, and grabs the other person's hand next
That's
to
who
her.
he was. Dwight was kind of looking at her like, please do this. Just once. Just once.
It's only a slight like moment of just touching people.
We'll say that Greta's other hand is one that Dwight takes. To the giggles of Abigail Burke, Phil Castillo reaches out his hand to Elijah Sawyer, whom he has been sat next to
Don't do
at
it,
the
Phil.
table.
Don't do it.
It's grace, Sabella. I'm not going to burn the man alive in front of his kid or in front of his wife here at Grace.
Ooh,
You promise?
I'm going to kill him after. Just don't kiss me anymore, Elijah.
Your hands are very soft. Do you use lotion?
They're warm too, Elijah.
I can
I'm going to
tell.
kill him. Listen, it's grace. We got to think about Jesus Christ.
Greta's
He
hand is
takes
just
you-
very cold. A little clammy.
So you guys are all holding hands, presumably, unless somebody does not do so. The table goes back to Dwight. This is your house.
If everybody could bow their heads, please.
I do the same thing, Greta.
Yeah. Lord, we want to thank you for this meal. I want to thank you for bringing all of my friends, my only friends, my family, my love. And he kind of, he just kind of looks over. He kind of opens his eyes for a second, looks over at Doris. Hold this meal for us. Hold my family. Protect them. Make sure that no one or nothing comes between us. Make sure that everything we do, everything we ever will do or ever have done is in your name, in your glory. And if we have some moment where we falter, please lift us up. Guide us. Guide them. Because we are together. We will never, 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 never fail. And we, whether they know or not, we are in your eyes. Thank you, Lord. Amen.
As the prayer ends, both Kate and Evie look up and they cross themselves, and Kate crosses herself 3 times as others are preparing to pass food.
Greta leans over and mutters very quietly in German to Hans, "I do not see the point in it. The food is just getting cold. It does not. I don't."
I understand it's a custom, so we are and back in German. We are in West Virginia. Who would have thought we would have made it to West Virginia? I mean, I'm surprised we haven't killed the turkey ourselves and had to pluck it or something. It's
If we did, we would have been very methodical. I mean, it just
it would be warmer, sure, but
It
this
would
is their
be.
house, right?
we are being polite. Thank you. It's just
I'm just thinking about scientific research. It's all I'm
Dwight
saying.
carves the turkey.
I mean, if you really went on the left tendons, it would be a much better. But I'm not going to say anything. I've been quiet.
Yeah, shh. I see sauerkraut. That must be ours. Okay, shh,
Oh.
don't say anything racist.
That was cool, Phil. I'm gonna start calling you Mr. Cardio. It sounds like cardio, get it?
Yeah, I get it, Elijah. It's hilarious. You are a funny and astute man.
It's funny how after all these years, you two are still measuring your manhoods. They haven't changed.
Measuring. That's funny. It's funny. It's like sounds like there's a contest. Like it's close. Whatever. Can I have something to eat? Can someone give him something to eat so he stops talking?
I pass food to Phil just to shut his mouth for a while.
He does. He
Dwight
starts
said-
eating.
Dwight says, "Thank you, Doris, for this meal. You are the best."
Dankeschön, Doris. Your hospitality is much appreciated.
Oh, I'm just so glad y'all here, and I hope the cabin's okay for you. I hope it. Dwight worked hard
It is
on it.
lovely. It is very lovely and most suitable to our needs.
I love that you guys are here. Thank you for coming. I know it was a long journey. And me and Doris, we're going to come to Germany, I promise.
Often you do. So as always, a wing at my family's estate, or Hans's.
And Dwight looks at Doris like she's been talking about going to Germany for a long time.
That would be fantastic. We've been teaching Abigail the German. She points to the Happy Thanksgiving sign. We've been teaching her German, so anytime that we'll ever be able to come, we won't embarrass you all. We'll sound German. And
Doris,
not
you can
sound-
never embarrass anyone. You are just the sweetest thing.
Until
But-
Soldier Boy finds out about Oktoberfest.
Oh, Baden, and so Greta hears that, and you see her eyes kind of go big. She's Baden is very lovely in the spring.
The spring, the Dwight. Now, did you hear that? The spring, at the Abby will be 9, and then we'll be able to. It might be time then.
It might be. And, he kind of looks at, he's like, Germany's a lovely place.
Roll a power check.
As the bile fills your throat.
It does. I love Germany. I'm half German in reality.
Okay, is that your last one? A success? Or,
No,
yeah.
No, that's
regular
it.
success.
The regular success, that's all.
Okay. So as you say this, Dwight, you catch a glimpse of mud-covered fields and men that are not soldiers in your eyes, men that are animals. And you've convinced yourself of such as you murder them by the dozens.
Dwight drops the glass. He's about to take a drink and it breaks.
And
Oh,
you come back.
Oh,
Starting
It
early.
startles him.
Are you alright? Did you cut
I'm
yourself?
so sorry.
No.
Dwight becomes very apologetic. I don't know what happened.
Greta just grabs your wrist and checks your hand for any cuts or anything, making sure you didn't hurt yourself.
I'm fine. Doris, he kind of looks at Doris. I'm sorry, Doris. I don't know what I did.
Are you okay? Dr. Greta could maybe. Are you feeling
No,
okay,
I'm
honey?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Don't eat your plate of food glass. Can
I'm
travel and chat.
Wyatt,
you
it's
know-
all right. I will take over toasting duties for you.
Thank.
I don't want you to be
know what happened
embarrassed.
me.
I can break mine if it makes you feel better.
No, Elijah, no.
I'm so clumsy, and Dwight is literally embarrassed. He doesn't ever get embarrassed, but he's embarrassed right now.
I will make a toast. I'm going to stand up with my drink, which I assume I have, as I
Phil,
am wont
Phil's
to do.
taking a huge bite out of a turkey leg, and he kind of stops and puts it down and grabs his glass and lifts it up.
White meat is better for you.
He doesn't eat anything that's good for him.
I
Right.
really don't.
You're good for him.
Elijah! I ignore him and I stand with my glass and I look around at all of my friends. I'm gonna keep this short. I'm not one careful. Come on, keep it together, everyone. It's gonna be short. I look around at all of them and I make little faces over at Syl and Marie and Abigail, just little funny faces. And I never in a million years thought my life would be like this. Never. And it is. And I want to thank you all. And looks at Greta and looks at Elijah and Dwight. Winks at Elijah. And then looks over at Kate. I love you all very much. That's all.
Oh, here.
Yes. Cheers.
Dwight grabs another glass and he's trying to clean up mess. He said, "That's beautiful, Savella. It's beautiful."
Just a couple of beautiful cleaning up after dinner.
Kate is uncharacteristically quiet through all of this. And as Sabella sits down and in the brief moment of silence that follows, she clears her throat a little bit. This is really lovely. It's been so nice seeing all of you, but and I'd love to stick around. Your invitation, Doris, was so generous for us to come and stay for a while, but we're gonna have to go tonight. I've got that. Well, you may not know anymore. I guess you don't know all my secrets anymore, do you? We're gearing up for a circumnavigation, trying the polar route this time. It'd be the first time it's ever been done. And, the tests aren't going quite like we expected them to. And I got to get back out to California.
Of course you do.
She ignores that.
If you would like a second opinion on the test, you can feel free to send some me and Hans's way.
Temperature is our specialty.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And perhaps I will. You'd be more than welcome to come out to Cloverfield anytime that you'd like. Would love to show you around and could certainly use your expertise. But we're probably gonna have to go in the morning, maybe tonight. And she looks down at Evie. Maybe tonight, baby. I'm just real nervous. We need to.
Kate,
Yeah, Dwight.
I'm so glad you came, and I want you to stay as long as you can stay. But I want everybody to know I've served under a lot of people, and you're the greatest leader I've ever served under, and I would have done anything for you. I want you to stay, but if you got to go, I definitely understand.
Hey, I second all that. I can toast to that one. No, Captain, my Captain.
It is better to be safe than sorry than experimenting with new sciences.
I mean, but if you've got to go.
She smiles around the table. I tell you what, when I come back, we'll spend a good long time. I'm probably going to need a place to rest up a little bit.
I'm never going to get in a plane again. You know this, Kate. Because you scared the shit out of me.
Kate,
Oh.
as
Yeah, Dwight goes, "Ooh."
This is
Abigail-
why you speak two languages. Sorry.
Abigail, Marie, and Syl all snicker at the curse word as it comes out. Kate, through this entire conversation, Evie hasn't said anything, but she has laced her fingers of her right hand through your left and squeezed as you're talking. She's not saying don't. She's not saying anything. She's just offering kind of silent support.
Well, but all that's... I'm certainly not leaving until after dessert, so...
Well, we have a great dessert. I baked it myself.
Oh,
Is it still in the oven? I'll go. You can't leave things in the oven. I'm gonna go to the kitchen.
I was
Dwight looked at the
pumpkin
door and
pie.
he's like, oh shit.
No,
Come on.
no, wait. I was
Greta
promised
just
pumpkin
face
pie.
palms.
Come. You
Pumpkin
can
pie?
come grab it out of the oven in case it's burning. Come on, Phil.
Oh, it's pumpkin pie. Please tell me it's pumpkin pie. Doris gives.
Pumpkin pie.
Yep.
Plus, it's pumpkin pie.
It's made out of pumpkin, and it tastes
Definitely
really
not
good.
Made out of pumpkin.
It's made out of pumpkin. It's orange.
Quintessential Americana. You have to. It's,
Yeah.
Is this anything like a hamburger? I did not enjoy that. It is nothing like hamburger.
No, it's a pie. It's
Why
like it's a treat. It's like a dessert. It's like
Why
a,
they
Well,
listen
first-
to the country?
That
How-
is the
how-
first
how did you-
American food I had, and it was disgusting. It was so greasy.
So as everybody goes over to the kitchen and Phil does indeed find the pumpkin pie, taking it out of the oven with his bare hands, he puts it onto something and begins to cut it. And Phil stops and looks out the window and he says, "Hey, your barn door's open. Yo, Dwight, your barn door's open, man. It's gonna, wind catches that, it's gonna rip that big sumbitch right. I mean, that thing, it's gonna rip the thing off. The hinges, the door, the thing's gonna get ripped off."
Well, it's actually slides, but thank you. Thank you.
Well, no, it's the
Phil.
smaller door inside the big one. I know what the big door is. I mean, I'm talking at the one person door at the bottom.
I
Is
got
this
it.
a euphemism? Because I got lost. Like I was following.
No, there's
The-
listen, on barn doors, there's the big doors that
I
slide
take
open
some
like
of the
this.
whipped cream and I put it on his nose.
Your
Greta
barn
is
door's
ignoring
open.
all of this and is just kind of like speaking kind of sweetly in German while they eat some cranberry sauce and sauerkraut at the table still. They haven't gotten up for the pie.
Dwight turns to Doris. I'm gonna go check the door. But I'll
Don't
be
we
back.
have a rule, or we used to have a rule? It was like 120 feet rule or something.
If you had a rule,
I did in my head. I never told any of y'all it, but that was it. Don't go more than 120 feet. Although I guess it does not really apply since we live across the country from each other now.
Dwight, do you need an escort?
it's the ocean.
That's up to you guys. I can go close the door myself, but
We know
I
you're
always-
capable of closing a door.
I could always use the company.
If
I haven't
Caitlin
seen the
wants
cat
to
yet.
leave, if Caitlin wants to leave soon, I just feel like we should have as much time as possible all together. That's all.
Okay.
We'll do it really
That's-
quick. I want to see the.
That would be great with me. Anytime I could spend with you guys is
Oh.
my favorite.
See? Smiles at Kate.
Kate just looks down at her pie.
Okay, group trip, family trip. Let's gonna go close the door together.
Oh,
Oh
if
my
we are
God.
closing the door. Oh, God.
I'll be back, Doris. I promise.
I know, you're closing the door.
It's sunset. There might be fireflies out. It'd be pretty.
Abigail says around a mouthful of food that she covers like this because of West Virginian manners. And she says, "They don't come out until it's really dark."
And he leans over to Abigail and goes, "Pumpkin, you are
Yeah?
the best, and I love you more than anything in this world. And we're gonna go shooting tomorrow. I'm gonna teach you,
I have the 22.
and you're gonna be the best at it. I promise.
How old is she, Dwight?
She's my daughter, Isabella.
Mhm.
She'll be
I
able
was
to shoot.
dissecting things when I was 6. I mean, it is not that much difference. In fact, the fine motor control required to fire a gun is much different inside of dissecting things. So
You'd be
Dissect
surprised.
something.
She's a lot.
Marie, still don't listen to Auntie Greta or Uncle Dwight.
She's so much smarter than me. right now, she can tell you things that I couldn't even begin to imagine. She's Greta's smart. And he kind of looks at Greta and winks at her. She needs
She
your,
just nods matter
yeah,
of
she's
factly.
like, she could use your tutelage almost. You know, kind of like a wink, like you would help her more than I can ever.
Abigail kind of gets up as she moves over to get her own pumpkin pie, and she stops for a moment by the chairs of Hans and Greta, and in very broken German, she says, "They did make the sauerkraut for you. I don't think it was meant to make fun of you." And then she...
I will say, Dankeschön. It is very good. Thank you.
What did she say?
So who's going out to shut the door?
I guess we're all going out to shut the door.
I think Greta would actually stay inside with Hans.
Yeah, I think Kate would too. Kate would stay at the table.
Elijah wants to see the new kitten because he has more Mark Twain quotes to spout off about cats.
See, Greta would go see the cat, but then she'd want to dissect it, and that's bad. So she's just sitting here so she could eat turkey.
But come on, Sawyer. Isabella, if you want to come too, you're more than welcome. I want to show you guys the barn anyway. You know, I've got some, I built it myself. I'm pretty proud of it. You know, I definitely will show it off.
Yep.
Okay. So
Yeah.
as you guys head out towards, as they're saying in chat, the barn adventure begins with just a single step. And as we have Sabella, Elijah, and Dwight going out on the barn adventure, we have Kate and Greta remaining back. We'll have Phil go with you guys too, because Phil needs an excuse to smoke as he is outside of the Burke estate. And
Yeah, the white will light one up. He's like, Doris doesn't like me to smoke, so I got to do it out here at the barn.
I use my finger. It freaks out the kids. I can't do stuff like that. So
Dwight takes a, you know, he's like, this is my excuse. This is where I go to smoke anyway, so don't worry about it.
Is
All
there
right.
hay in there? That doesn't seem very intelligent.
Why don't go in the barn, Isabella?
Well, good. Burn it down. I like to make sure, Dwight, you've made some questionable decisions in the past. So I just like to make sure you're taking care of yourself. Although Doris is the one who's probably taking care of you.
She is. You're absolutely right. He's like, I'm so glad. And he kind of like tries to, he is always trying to mend the fence between Phil and Sawyer. He's like, listen, I wish you two could just work things out, because I love both of you.
Dude, I'm having a great time.
And he's trying, you know, he's trying to let them bring it up. He's like, just, you know, he's like, I want you two to work things out, and I want you two to just get along, and we can
I'm
all
having a
be
great
one
time.
happy family.
Elijah's very happy.
You're having a good time.
Yeah,
Phil,
we
you
get
having a
along.
good time.
Look at his face.
Yeah, look at that.
Look, I'm gonna make his face go into a smile. See?
No, I thought you meant the lipstick. Okay.
I'm not sure how this door got open.
Wind?
Probably
they
the
usually-
kids, man.
I'm pretty careful with how I lock things up.
No, the kids were back
Kids
here.
aren't.
Yeah,
Kids are
you're probably right. You're probably right.
Still is a sneaker.
she's a stinker, is what she is.
They're beautiful, and
I take
Abigail
full
loves them.
credit for that. Thank you.
Abigail loves them.
Yeah.
That's her best friend. That's her best friend. She just talks about your girls constantly.
Hell, Soldier Boy, the girls talk about yours too. I mean, we gotta be careful though. They'll burn shit to the ground and, you know, go on like a robbery spree. They got your genes and my genes in them, so we gotta be careful. But by this time you guys get to the barn, and the door is open, and as you look in, you see that the far door is open as well, and they're beginning to swing lazily in the breeze of the West Virginia mountains.
I gotta talk to Abigail. She's got to pay a little bit more attention to what she's doing. You know, we have valuable things in here, and
Like what? Are there books?
well, this is where I keep sensitive items.
Are there guns in here? There are just a bunch of guns in here buried under the hay bales.
There's a lot of guns in here. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Thank
Lots
you.
of guns.
Thank
and I
you,
think she
Wyatt.
knows that that's what scares me.
Hmm?
Lots of guns.
All right.
Lots,
well,
lots and lots of. He kind of like loses
no,
lots
okay,
of guns.
come on. Go close the other door.
Yeah, he goes for the door. He's like, they're just in there playing.
When I was her age, I was just like out in fields with guns all the time.
Were you though,
It was fine.
Elijah?
Yes, I was. I didn't spend much time at home.
Hmm.
It's incredibly
Yeah,
hard to believe.
Yeah, Dwight kind of shakes his like, to this day, I have no fucking clue what the truth is with you.
Yeah, but that's the fun with him.
It is. Dwight kind of agrees. He's like, you know what? It is. It really is.
I did not
You-
used to think that, but now I do. Things are much calmer.
Abby loves you. It's Allie. See? Abby loves you. She thinks the world of you. She calls you Uncle Sawyer all the time.
Well,
When's
Uncle
Uncle
Sawyer
Sawyer
thinks it's
coming?
great fun too.
Yeah, wait till she gets to know him. Jesus.
What
we-
Dwight's like, Jesus Christ, you two will never change. And he goes to
Listen.
the back door.
I hope not.
Are you guys all going into the barn? As the keeper asks ominously.
Yes.
Us, all of us together.
All right. As you all step into the barn, I'd like you all to roll power checks for me, please.
Success.
Hard success.
I failed once again. I am
Mr.
failing.
PTSD over here. Damn.
Yeah, I don't want to leave this place. Apparently.
So as Dwight kind of goes in, beelining towards the opposite door, as soon as Phil and Sabella and Elijah step inside, the door swings back closed. The one that you just entered in through, it closes behind you. And as you look, Ruby Foster is standing there. What are you doing? What are you doing here?
We're having Thanksgiving dinner.
None of this is real. None of them are real. And it's the first time that you see that there is a caramel colored skin of a young man behind her. And when she says none of them are real, he looks at her oddly and meets Sabella's gaze and drops his eyes to the ground. He seems vaguely familiar. And he begins to squeeze the shoulder of Ruby Foster. Ruby, who seems to be a teenager, and this other boy seems to be just slightly older. Ruby says, listen, you gotta remember, Sabella. They're keeping you here. Only you all can stop it. Only the Olympians can stop it. I don't have much time. They're gonna see me.
How do we get out?
You gotta leave them. And you see that the boy behind looks at Phil. And he looks again at Ruby, and she shakes the hand off her shoulder. None of them are real. Do you understand, Sabella? None of them. None of them.
I understand, I think.
You gotta leave them. You all gotta walk out of here together. Everyone roll a listen check for me, including the people in the house.
Okay.
Mm-mm. Nope.
Like,
You see,
dog shit.
you see the boy behind put his hand back on Ruby's shoulder and squeeze, and he says, "They're coming."
Who's coming?
And he doesn't answer, but Ruby says, "They know we're here. You've got to leave them."
Ruby, get somewhere safe yourself.
"I'm not
Right.
really here." And she starts to get quieter. "I'm not really here. damn it. And she turns around and the boy is holding, and at the last second, the boy looks directly at you, Sabella, and he says, Phil's real. He's really here. And Ruby turns and looks at him, and they both wink out of existence.
I didn't see Ruby, right? Because I failed the power check, correct?
You heard her as you were over at the other door. When you turned around, you saw a stranger.
Sabella, who was that? That voice sounded very familiar.
It was Ruby. I think that was...
What?
She's just staring at Phil. We have to go. Elijah?
Who's to say what's real and what's not real? Like, I can feel my face. I can feel the sun. It's pretty warm.
What's going on, Sabella?
We have to go.
What the hell's going on?
Dwight has the grand out here, and he's going to go for it.
We have to get out of here. We have to get Greta and Katie. And we
Sabella, hold on. Just relax.
We have to go.
Why?
We gotta go. Let me get the girls.
No, you can't get. Okay.
Sabella, you're having a flashback. Relax.
No, soldier. She knows. When she says something, it's the truth. I'm gonna get the girls. We'll get to the car. We'll get to the girls.
No, Phil, stop.
You can't have multiple people flashbacks, Dwight. I saw that.
What do you mean you saw it? What are we talking about here?
Do you think that boy, I don't know if it was...
It looks like the kid from Africa.
Borneo.
Bali.
Do you think he was telling the truth?
Dwight goes for his gun immediately. He goes where he keeps his grand.
I don't want to say yes, but yes.
Okay.
I gotta get back to the house right now. Dwight's fervently getting out his grand. He's dusting it off, and he's running back to the house. He just jets out.
Dwight, wait!
He doesn't listen. He just jets.
As soon as Dwight leaves the barn, a frantic call from Doris comes from the house, and you hear, Dwight, there are men in the front yard.
I'm coming, Doris. I'm coming. And he's cocking the gun. I will not fucking let them get you. Not again.
I'm grabbing Phil and Elijah's hands and chasing after him.
As
Back
you
to the
all are
house.
running along the side of the house, Greta, you and Kate are inside the house, and it seems that Doris is the only one that heard something. Perhaps it's just a lifetime of living on a lonely mountain. And she perks her head up and she says, we're not expecting. And she moves over to the front window, just off the table since the living room and the dining room had been converted for Thanksgiving. And she peeks out the curtains, and in the dying light of this West Virginia mountain twilight, she sees several men with weapons walking up the gravel road past the Chevy Deluxe. And her eyes go wide, and she turns to Kate and Greta and she says, there are men in the front yard with guns. I've never seen them before. They have them out. They're not holding them on the shoulders. They have them out.
Doris, listen to me. Where does Dwight keep his guns in the house? Where's the one
does,
that's closest?
I made him keep them all in the barn. They're all in the barn. She runs to the back door and opens it and screams, Dwight, there are men in the front yard.
Dwight is as fast as he can go. If I have to crit, he will run toward as fast as he can get to the front yard.
Greta is grabbing Hans, keeping him low, and running him towards the backyard.
Kate looks to Evie and says, babe, look, it's just like I told you. take the girls and head back up the mountain. Head back up to where we were just before Dwight called. Just get them up there.
I will.
And Kate starts moving toward the front of the house to look out the window.
Evie turns just as you say that, and she says, "Oh my God, Kate, where are the girls?"
I'm looking around for them.
Greta, and you guys can roll spot hiddens here.
I don't know if Greta would.
Hard success.
They're not there.
Damn it.
It's at this moment that you hear a small voice say from the slightly cocked front door, holding in her hands a .22 rifle that was given to her for her 8th birthday, as she says, "Get off my land!" as Abigail faces a man named Captain Lancaster.
How far am I from the front door?
And that is where we're going to end this episode of Project Athena. Let's turn on happy music now. I'm going to turn this on. It's kind of happy. Remember me as I was, chat. I'm not going to make it out of the green room after this one. Let's go around and talk to everybody. Hey, everybody. How was your evening? Allison?
I mean, probably better than everybody else's, because I missed 15 fucking minutes of it. Jesus Christ. That was lovely.
The internet
Thanks
gets
so
you at
much,
all
everyone.
times. You lasted a while before the internet finally bit you, Allison, but don't worry, it was mostly Lindy during that time, so it's cool. How did you like the episode? Did you love it?
Yeah, I did. I was really getting into the idea of sitting around a Thanksgiving table with these folks. Yeah, I'm all ready. I'm ready for next Sunday. I'm ready for it right now. Let's do the time travel thing, shall we? Until then, you can find me on Twitter at Allison Robinson with 2 L's and a Y. My podcast schedule is there along with my Gen Con schedule, which I just posted today. So take a look. If you're headed to Gen Con in a couple of weeks, would love to do the face-to-face thing. So hit me up. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Fantastic. And we will jump up off to the side a bit to Dr. Greta. Lindy, how are you doing this evening?
I'm nose ghosting. You can skip somebody fucking else. Did you not see the nose ghost?
Okay, so Steve, how are you doing this evening?
You hurt my little girl, Gage. I swear to God. I've never cared about an NPC more in my whole life.
Your little girl, you didn't even know who she was 100 and some minutes ago.
I know, but now Dwight will die and wreak havoc. If I ever have to wreak havoc on anything, it will come next week. He will bring the pain, and it'll be a glorious time, because no one gets in front of my family and my friends. So Dwight is ready to sacrifice all in this one. So if you want to kill me, now will be the time. But I had a blast. It was a great episode, bro. Amazing story.
I'm making a note real quick. Hold on. Kill Dwight. Got it. All right, buddy. Everybody, too. Twitter is up. Please follow my man, Big Pig 50,000. I'm going to go back to Lindy. Lindy, are you still...
Nope, good. Now I unnosed ghost, because that is a rule, an unspoken rule among humankind, Greg. Everything's great. Everything's fine. Greta's fine.
I'm not
She's
human,
not
so...
feeling things, because, she never feels things, and that's part of her charm. And she totally isn't feeling things now, so as Lauren is pouring another glass of wine, next week is going to be great, and I'm going to have like 4 more of these tonight, and everything's going to be fine. You can follow me online at LaughLoveLindy on Twitch and Twitter, where I am more emotional than Greta, who is feeling things. And I do a shit ton of tabletop, Dungeons and Dragons, Call of Cthulhu, Firefly RPG, and Star Wars RPG shit all over the internet, and we'll be at Gen Con weekend after next. So, keep an eye out for me there. If you wanna meet up with me there at some point, just hit me up on Twitter. I'm gonna be posting my schedule soon.
Awesome. Links are in chat. Everybody, please follow Lindy, as she is both a laugh and a love. And speaking of laughing and loving, from the heart of Phil Castillo to the mind of Elijah Sawyer, Strider, how are you doing, my friend?
I do like 3 things. I breathe and I laugh and I love, so that is a good segue. Fun. I like displaying how young and immature Elijah actually is. Since he's trying to be like so mature in like season 1 and stuff. Walls are coming down a little bit, but I have a good feeling that like 1 step forward, 2 steps back, this is gonna walls are gonna go right back up after all said and done here. I'm having a blast. I'm wanting to see what goes on. Elijah's weird headspace to get into, so I can't even tell you what he's gonna do or how he's gonna react to all this. So I guess I'll just play him next week and find out. You can find me on Encounter Roleplay on Wednesday playing Dark Side Star Warsy stuff with Lindy. Check me out there, and then check me out here on Sundays.
Fantastic. Again, links are in chat. As it says there, Strider is just another one of Elijah's voices. Follow him and listen throughout the week. Come back here to hear all the other pantheon of odd advice. And speaking of advice, I'm sure to get an earful of it as I go over. And Lauren, how are you doing this fine evening?
Cool. I'm doing great now. I'm fine. I'm chill. I'm Lauren. Something I really liked was how much Bella and Elijah could get along. I liked that a lot.
Those are my favorite.
Yeah, mine too. You can find me over on Twitter at That's Salty Ginger, screaming into the void. Tomorrow I'm on Encounter Roleplay, playing some D&D 5e at 1 p.m. Eastern. And then I think the next thing I have is back on Saturday for Valley of Soot and Skull with Greg on the Greyhawk channel at 9 p.m. Eastern. And then back here for fun times and good feels with friends. Project Athena, Pop Cthulhu, my favorite thing in the whole world. I love these people. Greg's
awesome.
Here too.
I'm here.
Country road.
Yep. We experienced little country roads here in West Virginia.
I hope it's Deutschland. Don't lie to me.
Can we have a sing-along, like, fade out?
Right. Thank you, Frost, for the donation. I appreciate it. You can you can give some boons to some of the people, as their boons are still in effect here, as their loved ones are their boons coming forward. I am number 1. So as I'm Grimjack21502 on the Twitches and the Twitters. You can find me tomorrow on Encounter Roleplay. You can find me Tuesday, Tomes and Tentacles, and then WebDM in the evening. Wednesday back on Encounter Roleplay. Here on my channel, we have Conan Age Undreamed Of that currently has Steven in it, that often has Lauren in it from 12 to 2 on Fridays. We have Firefly from 2 to 4 on Fridays, which has Lindy in it. And then we have Project Kronos, which is the sister companion show to Project Athena. It runs on Saturdays from 2 to 4. I have the aforementioned Valley of Soot and Skull on the Greyhawk channel on Saturdays, starting at 9. All times are Eastern. But ladies and gentlemen, we will be back here in 1933, or wherever the hell we are, next Sunday for the mid-season finale of Project Athena as we all take a bit of a break to go to Gen Con, recharge our creative juices. I suffer a hideous accident somewhere at Gen Con, and
I'm shaving half your beard.
It's
Do you
okay.
not know how capable I am?
I know that you'll all get away with it, and that's why, FBI, I am making this plea during a pre-recorded message that the people, one of them did it. One of them around here did it. Start with Strider. He's the least likely to have done it, but the most likely to have done it. Okay, everybody. Anyway, have a great week. Please stay safe. 2018 sucks. 1933 is where we'll be waiting. Just that little space between dreaming and awake. There you will find us Olympians as we decide whether or not to leave these country roads, which also happens to be the title of our mid-season finale. We'll see you guys next week. We love you all. Chat, you rock, and we shall see you.